Hi, welcome to the MUN United Nations podcast at Hudson County Community College. I'm Rebecca Richardson, and today we're going to be talking about the importance of STEM education. First, we're going to show you a quick clip about the topic.
Hey, I'm James Cox. I'm one of the reference librarians here, and my job is programming the makerspace. So the makerspace is a unique space within the library. We have non-book type things here in the makerspace, like a 3D printer, button makers, things like that. So part of the programming is to encourage STEM or STEAM students to come in here and utilize the space, combining science, technology, engineering, arts, and math all together in one location. We do a lot of programming here, bring in speakers and things like that, but ideally students will come in and use the space without any input from me or anybody else and just explore it on their own, ideally.
Hi, I'm Jeremiah Typin. I'm a visual artist. I'm also a professor of computer arts here at Hudson County Community College. And today we are talking about the importance of art and STEM subjects to make STEAM education, but also the importance of STEM and art to make STEAM, right? And for most of humanity's history, art and science were part of the same thing, right? They integrated perfectly together. And it's only when we became really specialized that we started separating out of all of these different disciplines. But today, because of, I think, partially because of new media and the sort of reintegration of all the fields, we've seen that when art is introduced to STEM subjects, great things happen, right? Innovation happens, people become more creative, and not that, capital defines everything, but even in companies like Apple that make art and design, not just visual design, but user design, experience design, a big part of their products end up being some of the greatest, wealthiest businesses on the planet. Here at the college, we, in the computer arts, the integration is just seamless, it's fluid. We have 3D printers, we have virtual reality headsets. We're using, of course, computers all the time. We're doing computer-aided drawing. We're doing 3D modeling, 3D printing, 3D scanning. All of these things integrate so seamlessly that sometimes we even forget about why or how they all exist. We kind of take it for granted. But some people don't, and they try to separate these things. They think that STEAM education is the end-all, be-all. But without the humanities and without the arts, we don't get fully rounded students, right? We're able to really think through problems and solve them analytically in new, interesting, and creative ways. And this is where the merging of art and STEM subjects becomes so important for both art students and for STEM students.
Here with me today is Abdurrahim Zahi, President of Phi Theta Kappa, Sigma Kappa Delta, Vice President of the STEM Club and the MUN United Nations Club, and Preska Gombe, President of the MUN United Nations, and Rocco Maristella, President of the Art Club.
So, Abdurrahim, as you know me, and as all of you know me, I'm a business major student, which means I mostly deal with business, finance, economic stuff, and so I'm human, right? And in our society, it seems like people don't really consider art, But don't forget, art is mostly about skills, which means I don't need to go to school to be an artist because I can sing by myself. I can sing, and singing is art. And STEM is mostly math-related subject, and people run away from math because they say math is so complicated. And I just wanted to explain outside, what do you think about that idea of including art in STEM? And why when they created STEM, they didn't think about art, and now they're trying to include art in STEM?
Well, here you have three questions in one. Actually, they were not one question. So to go back to your first question, you said that art people doesn't need to go to school to learn art, which is somehow correct, but yeah, art can be seen like it's a skill that we acquire throughout the years when we grow up. It's all about creativity. It's all about being like genius in expressing yourself in a different way to the world. However, I can't say that people cannot be artists if they don't go to school. Actually, you need to go to school to learn art, to be an artist.
But you mean to improve, right?
I mean, not to improve, to actually
To be taken seriously, you need
to make it
yeah.
like a career in your life.
But some arts are
A
inborn.
lot of
inborn
artists-
talent.
Well, but a lot of artists to be taken seriously in this field, you need a BFA, which is a Bachelor's of Fine Arts. Employers, it could be graphic designers, it could be architects, it could be painters themselves. In order for employers to employ them, they want to be credible, so they need to have these degrees.
Right. Isn't exhibits really credible enough?
I guess like if you have experience with other mediums or an apprenticeship, a lot of artists rely on apprenticeships for experience and building to certification. But it is a tough field. I don't have the stats, but I do know that the job market doesn't offer a lot of growth. So in order to get any sort of certification or any sort of credibility, an artist does indeed have to go to school, even singers as well.
Those fine art schools,
Fine arts, yeah.
especially in majors like music or like stuff like this. So I would say that school definitely is a place that's gonna sharpen your skills and enhance the career that you want in the art major.
Okay.
You mentioned that why we want to integrate art with STEM.
Yeah.
So it's really simple. Like if you are a scientist, say, give it a very good example here. Look at an architecture or a civil engineer. Those people, they make or design great structures. And then if you are an architecture and you are lacking this art touch or art background or this creativity, definitely your design is gonna look something ugly. And as a matter of fact, you look here, wherever you go, there are great structures there. Why? Maybe because just the person has this, artistic background. And then when you see an ugly building, definitely you're gonna realize that the person who designed it, he was just, applying whatever concrete science he had acquired without this, artistic touch.
Your
So-
creativity and
Yeah,
imagination.
right.
Yeah. So which one do you think is the most important, STEM or art?
That's a very tough question, but I can make it very simple for you. I think for the beneficial of students' overall, performance in their future career, I believe integrating art into STEM is gonna have a lot of benefits. I hate the idea of separating them and look at them as like totally different worlds. I prefer to look at them as every element is complementing the other element.
So it's like a system. That's what you mean, right?
I think
System, we are
it shouldn't be
capable of
separated
together.
only for. I think people, they try to make them for commercial benefit. That's why they separate them. But to integrate them is more beneficial for students' overall performance in their career.
Yeah. So you mean they all have the same level?
Exactly.
Yeah, one shouldn't be deemed as a higher C or the other because engineers, they need to know design. They need creativity. We all need creativity in order to push boundaries into our fields. And it's more than just saying one over the other. We should incorporate both of them. And once you do, like I've seen schools who design like actual art programs for robot building. And what they do with this, it's they learn how to work together. They learn how to complement each other in terms of like, oh, well, I'll take part in this and I'll do this. You could do that. And they learn how to develop team skills just by through this form of education of STEAM. And it's incredible to see as a future educator. It's really humbling that one day I'll get to work with kids like that. And that inspires me in what I want to do. I'm not an art major per se, but I do know the importance of creativity in the classroom. If you dwindle on that and if you don't like encourage it, then you're just making copy and cut pieces of people. You're just like,
Right.
yeah, you're not making them learn for themselves or think for themselves. So you need to be open to different fundamentals of teaching. And STEM teaching and art teaching, STEAM, sorry, it's really, I don't know, I lost the words with that. Very
Beneficial for the
inspiring.
overall.
Yeah, it's just this inspiring
Right.
like
Yeah.
fundamental of teaching.
Yeah, so Michael, as an artist, you agree with that, right? STEAM.
Yeah, I agree with Steve. I value aesthetic in their lives. You know, Steve Jobs, he incorporated art in his with Apple, which is more focused on STEM, right? So when he was in high school, he learned this typography, and which is also art. He inserted that in the future Apple products, right? Which we use today.
Very much
I'm
so.
sorry,
Yes.
I'm on mental block right now.
Yeah, so just as you're talking about Apple thing, I would also like to talk about culinary, you know, because 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 you know they also I think it's art. It's art because cooking and then knowing how to present your food, how to present
Yes.
what you've
Yeah.
cooked.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
it's just amazing.
Yeah,
you
there is.
know, and
Yeah.
and we eat every day.
Mhm.
So and eating is art. But don't forget,
There is science behind it.
there is
Right.
science
Yeah,
because
yeah,
when
yeah.
you mix up like everything, it's all about science, which means we just need to know them. Like,
Yeah, there's
for
nothing.
STEM too.
There's nothing more political than food.
yeah.
Food is like food is so political. It determines so many different cultures, and their art and technique goes into their dishes, and it does require that element of skill. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, knowing how to cook, you don't really need to go to school, but you can go to school to improve what you know. Or you know, some people, if you would like to know more about specialization and all of that, like me, I've never went to school to learn how to cook. I learned it from my mom, and then it's how it goes. And I think we offer STEM.
I think I want. This is a really interesting topic. Food. I'm a food lover, and yeah.
Me
So
too.
we hear
Food can start a war.
Yeah, we hear about those restaurants, international famous restaurants ratings like a Michelin, 2 or 3 stars. There is an artistic touch there in their food, but don't forget those dishes and those famous cooks. There is science behind their dishes. When he provides for you like a world-class dish that is like 3 stars or whatever, something like this, all the ingredients, all the elements they provide in that dish is all scientifically studied of nutrition, the calories, all So there is a lot of science behind food industry.
Yeah, and even in growing the food itself in agriculture, it takes so much to just bring the lettuce to the salad table. It just takes so much knowledge and how to grow it, how to nurture it from farmers from all over the world to just put this thing on a dish together. It takes a lot to bring from the farm to the plate. Yeah.
And as this the school even has a STEM building, and we also have art, then we have the e-building, which is culinary. So I think they just got everything. And then we have business, even if today isn't about business, but I'm a business major student. So I just wanted, because I don't, even if I say that I'm not really concerned about that, but I'm concerned on something, because I use phone, and phone is from STEM, is we can say in general, because we have science and technology and everything, and then to design the phone they need artists, and now I can see how it's also
How they work
important to
together.
me. Yeah, it's
Right.
important to me too, even if it's not my focus,
Right.
but
Right.
I'm using it, so
I like that you brought up the fact that we have so many different buildings on campus, and because we are a commuter school and an urban school, different buildings all over the place in Jersey City, and it is easy because it's easy to really separate our subjects from one another. Like in this L building, we have our art, we have humanities, we have our books, we have anything but science. But then if you go to the STEM building, it's all just STEM. We have labs, we have everything else there, and it's easy for us to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to be here because this subject is there, and I don't even need to think about that. It's really easy for us to separate these ideals, and that's why we separate them mentally, that they don't go together,
That's very cool.
Yeah.
yeah. And even about the 3D printing that you just showed, I think even that 3D printing, even in the hospitals, they need that. They're using it nowadays.
They are printing prosthetic
Yeah.
parts, they are putting even in John Hopkins hospitals, they are 3D printing organs, body organs, using very advanced technology. If you need an ear, if you need a nose, it's gonna grow in the lab as a cell, and then it's gonna be 3D printed. Yeah.
Okay.
How do I don't know, how do we, as a student here, I didn't know about these facilities. I didn't know about 3D printing or the advantages of 3D printing and what it could do in a whatever you said. And it's awesome. How can we engage the Hudson County community into this fundamental mind of STEM?
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I think we need to
We
encourage
are-
that
I
on
think-
our campus.
We are in a very good time. We are people of internet. We are 24 hours connected. I think the best tools is on us as students, and on also the second one is our school community to be aware of such topics. I think the Model United Nations is doing really a great job, especially bringing such topics to the public and the audience.
Thank
So,
you.
as a vice president and as a member, I really love what we are doing so far. I think this is one of the ways that we can promote such topics and bring the attention of the general public to such discussion, which I believe as a student and as a future scientists, let's say, is very important for people to know about it.
Yeah, this is a great platform for all of us to bring all of our skills, all of our interests into one melting pot. I mean, we have theater. I mean, I'm a theater, the vice president of theater club. We have an art club member mixed with all of this bunch. So it's a lot of different mediums into one. So
Yeah, and there is something that I've observed, most of parents just send their children, most of guys, boys, just to study the technology, to be an engineer and everything. But the thing I would advise them is each person has just to follow what he or she thinks might be able of doing, because everything, the world is so big that we need everything to get connected. We need everything to be together. So the thing I would say about this is, let's just all be for STEAM, because we need people. Some people might talk about financial issues, but you see singers, they talk about singers. They have a lot of money and they're artists, you know. They're not engineers, they're not scientists, but they have a lot of money. So everything has the same importance. But the thing is how the person is using what he has.
Yeah, because
that matters.
the reason why a lot of, like, today, a lot of questionable people become famous through these technological mediums of social media. We make, I guess, YouTube people famous. And that is because we spread them all over. Everybody knows. And it's not even about the skill sometimes, it's only about how well you can market yourself. And how well, it's about marketing. Yeah, this whole system is about
Business.
marketing. The reason why, exactly. It's the reason.
It's all marketing and politics.
Yeah, marketing and politics. And it goes, it leaves engineers and it leaves architects and scientists very unrecognized in today's world, and it's kind of unfortunate to see, but it's just where we are today. I want to go back to you, Rahim. How can STEM benefit from the infusion of the arts?
Well, I just want to bring the attention here that the STEAM is not a new concept. Throughout history, we have seen that people like Leonardo da Vinci, they shown us how to combine art and science to make discoveries. If we go back also, indigenous people in Australia, studies have shown that they used art like poetry to transfer science to the next generations through the use of memory. Your question is really important, but because recent studies have shown that art is very important in students' development. There is a study conducted by the National Endowment for the Arts recently indicated that there is a strong correlation between experience with the arts education and positive students' outcomes. This report examines that the academic and civic behaviors of teenagers and young adults who have engaged deeply with the arts in out of the school. They have a very high level with engagements, and they found the study also found that they were having a very good GPA scores and more aspirations for college in the future. And as students with low or no arts credits in high school were 5 times less likely to graduate from college. Yes, there is a growing also interest amongst forward-looking public and officials, educators as well, and professionals in enhancing the education platform to better prepare for both analytical and creative thinking for the students' future.
And in my research with theater education, like, this collaborative form of education is so much more beneficial than your standard laboratory or your standard examination process and lecture and study. It's 55% more effective, and you get higher test scores by like half a letter grade with collaboration instruction than with just reading discussions and classwork alone.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. Now we get to, I think, our last question here. How can kids who aren't interested in STEM per se learn STEM in a fun way?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
You see, uh, the funny thing about technology, it makes us and the kids, especially the young generation, very connected, and especially those three through these tools like Xbox, and there is a new trend here. I heard Fortnite. All of you heard about it. Um, President Barack Obama, in I think he delivered a speech. It was a very great speech and inspired every one of us. I think it was around 2012, or around this time, and there is a movement, we call it 1 hour of code. And then, this movement started, I think, in 2014. President Obama, I remember clearly, he said, don't teach your kid to play, but teach them how to code and make games.
To make the things.
Yeah, teach them. Don't teach your kids how to play games. Then teach them how to make games.
Make games.
So, if someone who doesn't have interest in science, he can be also involved and using science in an indirect way. For me, a very simple way is to teach those kids, younger kids, at those maker spaces or those clubs, science clubs, how to make a very simple coding games, which involves design, creativity, and then on the back there is a whole science behind running such games.
Very interesting.
Right.
Right. I think that concludes us for today. This has been the MUN United Nations podcast. So thanks for watching.
Yes, thank you so much. So, as a business field person, I just think we all use STEAM somehow, even in accounting. They need QuickBook, and QuickBook is a result of technology. And even when drawing the journal, it's art because it's creativity, So what I think is we just all need STEM, and the idea of including art in STEM is very great, and I think it would be helpful for all of us and our future generation.
Not everyone fits the profile of a traditional scientist, and STEM careers today are varied and wide-ranging. The addition of art provides another avenue for young people to experience success in STEM and aid them in learning the skills that they need to be successful in the 21st century. Additionally, it can provide non-science professionals the inspiration that they need to add STEM in their curriculum. In conclusion, Rahim, any last remarks?
I think this discussion has been really great for all of us here. But if there is anything we can take from today is that I think not everyone fits the profile for a traditional scientist. The STEM careers today are very varied and ranging from all sorts of fields. So the addition of art can provide another avenue for young people, young students to experience success in a STEM and aid them in a learning environment that will promote creativity and engagements toward their field of study. So the skill they need to be successful in the 21st century are not just STEM or their field of, it's art and STEM together, which is a STEAM. So it can provide non-science professionals the inspiration that they need to add STEM to their curriculum. So if the addition of art provides another means of motivation for STEM learning, then STEAM obviously does not take anything away from STEM, but only adds to that.
Okay. Thank you. This has been the MUN United Nations podcast, and I'm Rebecca Richardson, and it's been great.
Don't forget to follow our Instagram page, it's H.C.C.C. MUN United Nations. Subscribe on YouTube and follow our Facebook page and also like the pictures. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Hey, I'm Priska, I'm representing the United Nations. So today's talk is about STEM and art. Which one matters the most for you, STEM or art? So comment below and stay tuned. See you next time.
2, 3.
Hi, my name is Abdirahim Saleh. I'm the president of Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society. I'm the president also of Sigma Delta. I'm an advocate for STEAM. So comment below if you have any.
Hi, I'm Rocco Maristella. I'm part of the MUN Club, Psychology Club, Art Club, and Computer Club.
Hi, my name is Abdirahim. I'm a student at Hudson Community College and my major is computer art. So today our main topic is going to talk about STEAM vs art. So my major is computer art. I'm going to be
Give him your phone to explain.
Yes, it's recording. Let me do it again.
We don't hear from you.
I think it wasn't good for me.
Everything I'm going to be is behind the scene. You know that? Yo! You're going to be behind the scene. But today I tell you that, trust me.
Go back to active.
I'm going to... Go ahead. 3, 2...
1.
Here with me today is Abdirahim Sahi, President of Pi Theta Kappa, Sigma Kappa Delta, and Vice President of the MUN and STEM Club. Preska Agombe, President of the MUN. Oh my god, do it all over. I'm sorry. Preska Agombe, President of the United
But don't forget, when we talk about art, we mostly see skills. So you don't need to go to school. But when talking about STEM, it's science. So I am, as you know me, as all of you know me, I'm a business major student. So, which means I'm mostly theater. So, as a business.
Sure. Let's just do it.
Thank you. This has been the Model United Nations podcast, and I'm Rebecca Richardson, and it's been great. I don't know how to conclude it. We're cutting that. Yes. It's been a great discussion, guys. This has been the Model United I'm tired, man. I'm sorry.
You did a really great job.
Okay.
Hey, do you think I did it good there?
Yes, I do. I think
Yeah,
it was
I did a
really
good job
natural.
holding it
Way
too.
better than
Thank you.
Okay. Ready, 1, 2, 3.
But this has been a really great discussion, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been the Model United Nations podcast at Hudson County Community College. We're signing out.
Oh, don't forget to follow our Instagram page,
It's fun.
like pictures, subscribe on YouTube and our Facebook page. So, see you to the next.